Hello, besties. Welcome back to yet another episode of Charlitas. We are in season 2, episode 7, and today's episode is called Hay Comida en la Casa, which translates to There's Food at Home. For today's episode, as always, a little disclaimer, everything and anything that we say is based off of our personal lived experiences. We're not experts. We're just 20-something-year-olds trying to be relatable, but also trying to be insightful. I don't know.
Yeah, but spread our wisdom.
Share our wisdom, right. But, welcome everybody. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. My name is Sam.
My name is Alma.
My name is Luis.
My name is Pamela.
And I'm Jair.
Yes. And like I said, this is Charlitas. And today's episode will be talking a little bit about our upbringing, specifically with our socioeconomic statuses and what that was like, whether in school, whether at our house, or just like general experiences. So our icebreaker to start us off is, how do you say this word?
Frugalist.
Frugalist thing you have done. So for those who don't know what the word frugal is, does somebody want to define it?
It's pretty much like, what's the cheapest thing you've done?
Okay. The cheapest thing you've done. So
to like not spend money.
Right. So who wants to go first?
I can go first. Mine would have to be adding water to my shampoo and conditioner when it's about to to prolong it. That's fine. Yes, I did do that last night.
Real.
I mean, the most frugalist thing I've done is one time we were looking for donuts and we'd heard that you could they throw away all the donuts, right? That they don't that donut shops don't sell at the end of the day, so they just throw them away in the dumpster. So me and a couple of my friends, we drove around the city looking to different donut shops, and we ended up at one. I'm not gonna say which one, but is it in Andreessen? Okay, I'm gonna just hint that. I'm gonna just leave that hint. But anyway, so we got there and it was super funny because when we got there, what's it called? There was already 3 other cars full of people, full of different friend groups, and it was kind of a little bro moment, a little just guys, And I remember we all waited, and then we all we were just all looking at each other, see who was gonna be the first car to kind of go to the dumpster, and then we all got out, and then we all saw all the donuts were there, but the donut shop stepped on them, they hit them with some, they were super squished, so. It wasn't really even donuts anymore. It was just dough. Mm. Oh, dough. Donuts. Huh. And then we climbed over it and looked at the donuts and we were like, nah. Some people still ate them, but we did all that just so we wouldn't just so we wouldn't spend the money on some donuts. But it was a fun experience though. So highly recommend.
Me next. Hopefully I don't out myself too much. I had a certain number of pants that I only wore for the school because I didn't like the other pants that my mom got me. I can't say the number. I can't expose myself too much. How many number of pants I wore throughout the school year in middle school.
Real.
You can't say the number?
I can't say the number.
That's too... Okay. That's funny. But also on a similar... wavelength with clothes, I do not care if my underwear have holes. I will continue to wear them until you just can't. So I guess that's, underwear are really expensive these days for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's mine.
I've always had a very good immune system, and I think it's due to the fact that I drink the spoiled milk from my family. Because I feel bad throwing it away, guys. But hey, I don't get as sick.
My mom says nothing has ever expired. pretty much.
Your mom is preaching.
Maybe that's why I have stomach issues.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's crazy though.
That is a crazy thing. I'm not gonna lie. But
Wait, how do you deal with the smell? Is there a smell?
Sam, you just got to pull through.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
Okay, so going along with that, just like the same theme. I guess we can start off with like different things that or differences, I guess, that we saw in school. So like a little background. We mostly come from like a lower economic status, not like wealthy or any of that. And we also like live in those type of neighborhoods. So the schools that we went to really reflect that. And we'll talk a little bit about like differences that we saw like between like our schools, like our high school versus like the different high schools on the other side of town. But yeah, like we can, I don't know, like the first thing that comes to my mind are like the school supplies, right? Like, cause like that's the number one thing that, you know, school supplies for school, duh, it's needed. But I remember thinking like, and you know, my parents were always like able to buy us school supplies, but it was never like
The cool ones.
the cool fancy ones or whatever, you know? And I know for in my case, like the biggest one were like not being able to have like the cool mechanical pencils, you know, like the ones with like grippy on them and then like you can twist up and or whatever. I remember being so jelly because like I wanted those mechanical pencils. And I remember one time in 4th grade, I think, I like saw one laying around and I was like, if this goes unclaimed in the next 5 minutes, it's mine.
Tell me why I did that, but in 5th grade. Mine was a turquoise pencil.
my best pencils were found off the floor.
Right. And that's how I got my first mechanical pencil.
For me, I think I love coloring. And, you know, in the school supply list, it would always be like the crayons. We would just get the regular 24 pack, but I always saw the 64 pack with the sharpener in the back. And I always wanted it. So that was mine. Crayons. Or the cool folders with the designs. My mom wouldn't let me get, you know, with like Barbie or Princess. It was just red, blue, green, and yellow.
Get the 50-cent ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it was the cool like erasers that they put like on top of the pencils. You know, the ones that are like kind of like triangular shaped. I don't know why I thought they were the coolest thing ever. Y una vez le robé a la maestra.
Ooh.
Allegedly.
I remember for like science, we would have to like write with pen. And then I'm like, dang, I want the cool ones, but like I don't have enough money to buy the cool pens.
The erasable pens.
The erasable pens. And then so I bought like just what I thought were the coolest ones at Dollar Tree. But like they would kind of die out, so I'd have to switch. I'm like, write it out, write stuff out. This one's dying, switch again. Pretty much just reload my pens.
It's so real. And even the backpacks. I remember the backpacks being like, I hated like, which seems so dumb now, but like I remember like, no, I have to get a new backpack every year, Mom. Like, you don't understand.
Well, especially because then you had friends who would always be like, oh my gosh, my dad gave me like X amount of money to buy like new school supplies. So I'm going to get this backpack and I'm going to get these supplies. And you're like, cool, we're using mine for last year.
I know. Like, I've had the same backpack for the past 5 years.
Yes. Still going strong.
Just brag. It's still there.
Yeah, mine were like hand-me-downs or like yard sale ones or Goodwill ones. Mm-hmm. Some of them were cool, but some of them weren't.
No, I don't know if you guys ever attended, but I know I remember attending like those. It has a name. Like it was like back to school events that the community held, and like in those events they would have like different resources, including like free school supplies for the kids, or like free haircuts, or like donations, you know, that type of thing. And I remember like we would go to those and we would get some of those free school supplies and stuff. And I remember I got like, and I'm grateful for it, right? And I'm grateful, but like I got the ugliest backpack on the planet. And I remember like going to middle school and just like being so embarrassed that I had this backpack because it was like black and it had like a weird cat design and with like yellow sunglasses. And I hated it so much. And every time I wore it to school, I was like, this is why I don't have friends. This is why nobody likes me.
I remember those events. I guess in our case, when we would go, because my parents were still able to like buy them, sometimes they'd be like, no, don't take them, leave them for others. And I'd be like, but we are the others. Like, please let me take. But they'd always be like, no, there's her. And I was like, dang. But I low-key needed them. So that was our experience with them.
Right. And sorry, I'm talking a lot.
No.
Sorry. I guess I'm really inspired by this. Okay. But I was going to say, like, that reminds me of how, like, it's so hard because, you don't want to, like, take from other people because, like, your parents can get you some stuff, but also it's because, like, at your young age, you're like comparing yourself to your other peers and it's like nothing compared to what they have. And that reminds me of like something that we had mentioned when we were brainstorming this topic of like always being like poor, but not poor enough. For your reduced lunch, like if you didn't meet a certain criteria, you had to pay for it. Even though like you were still struggling. And I remember like talking to like several friends that were like, yeah, like I don't eat school lunch because then I have to pay for it. So I'd rather not eat school lunch. But like at the same time, they were telling me how like they could barely afford rent or something. And it's like, why can't you get free lunch? It's like, oh, cause like, we don't qualify. Like we don't qualify. And I know I've like went through that with my family when we were like, one year we were, and then the next year it was like, no. And our information had stayed the same. So it's confusing, like where you're poor, but you're not poor enough for certain things or certain resources. So you're kind of like in that gray area. I don't know.
Or even, adding on to that, when teachers, and like shout out to those teachers who like had snacks, but sometimes they'd be like, if you guys can like support, please donate snacks. And I would always want to donate, but like we didn't have enough to give extra. So I always felt bad taking the snacks that they had, Shout out to you teachers. Shout out to you.
No, for real. Wait, the snacks. Yeah, I remember like wanting to bring a snack for the class because I also wanted to seem cool, because like all the kids like they're like, I brought in the snack today.
Or like, oh, you brought the snack, you get it handed out.
I know.
And I'm like, oh, thanks.
Or like during like event, like specific like Valentine's Day, I wanted to be that kid who like made the bags with like the little stickers and like the pencil and the erasers and the candy. Yo la paleta de payaso.
Oh, wait, that's a really
that is
cool one.
It's
cool.
really cute, but when you compare yourself to like your classmates who gave off like the quote unquote popular, candies, like I felt very ostracized.
No, yeah.
And very different. And yeah.
It got to the point where she didn't want to take them.
It got to the point where I was like, I'm going to lie to myself and say that I'm too cool for that.
And I would always give out like the ones you buy at Winco, like the little heart lollipops. And then I think like my senior year of high school, like we had a Valentine's Day like celebration. And then someone was like, don't bring those. I was like, but it's okay because I had a job, so I could buy something else.
You just reminded me. I didn't remember for that day. I did not bring anything, and then like I think I was like making hearts and writing them down, or just giving hearts out to people because I didn't buy nothing. And then I think somebody was like, "Can you at least put your name on it?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, my bad. Oh god, you just brought me. That doesn't have anything to do with the podcast, but that just brought me back. Oh my god, that was a flashback. That was horrible."
Okay, but that also speaks to like the pressure of like wanting to like, I don't know, appease? Is that a word?
Like,
am I using that right?
Please other people?
Please people. Appeal. Yeah. Where like you just want to like fit in. Because I know with like clothes, we just I just wanted the cool shoes like everybody else.
So back to when I was a baby, my parents, the doctor said that I was going to be a boy. So what do you do as a first-time parent? You buy baby clothes. They bought baby clothes for a boy. We couldn't afford anymore. And so I was a little kid for up to like when I was 3 years old wearing boy clothes. And so in the pictures, I look like a little boy, especially because I had short hair. And I mean, that just also shows that we couldn't afford clothing. Yeah. So
Right.
I was a little boy.
You
for
couldn't
3
let those
years.
boy clothes go to waste.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I still have one too.
Oh, that's cute.
My brother got to wear it, but it's mine.
That's cute.
Sorry, that was depressing.
No, that wasn't depressing. That was cute. I mean, yeah, I can see that though. Like, not wanting, and like, the hand me down. Did Bame get to wear the?
Yeah, the three of us wore
we
them.
have. I think we have a picture of like when we were babies. We each have our own picture with that jacket on.
Oh,
It's a generational jacket.
It's a generation heirloom.
Yeah, but no, she got hand-me-downs a lot from me.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like thinking back onto like how that felt in elementary school.
Oh.
To me, they were new, and that's all that mattered.
see, period. Wait, love that. I like that. But but then kids are mean.
Kids are so rude. I remember one time, it had been like Black Friday, I think, and you had given me like a hand-me-down. It was like a flannel shirt, I think, and a kid was like, "Did you buy that during Black Friday?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Yeah, I can tell." Like,
Oh,
I was like, "Okay." Don't be rude to the quiet kids, y'all.
In elementary school?
Yeah. And I was like, okay, well.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Mine was very different. Like, well, since I went to oh my god, I spit all over it. Since I went to elementary school in Mexico, like things are like a lot more different over there. There's a school uniform that you have to wear. So there is no like nobody kind of looks different, except they're expensive, los uniformes. And I just remember like some kids couldn't afford them. So they would just have to wear like different things. And then like, I don't know, coming over here from like elementary school over there, it was just like a completely like, I was like, dang, like this, I remember I went to this elementary school in Aloha. I don't remember the name of it anymore, but I was like, dude, this building is insane. I was like, this building is crazy. Like, there's AC. There's like, over there, like at least and I went to like different. I feel like I went to like a different elementary school every year over there, so I kind of got to see like, and we weren't like like super poor in Mexico. Like we were pretty well off. Like but what's it called? I did go to like a really poor like elementary school, and I also went to like a regular one, and like even the difference between those like is insane. Like over there, like it's like, and it's not to like talk bad about it, but it's just like it was just like way different compared to here. Like I remember like one of like the things that I like for me was like the coolest was like when they had like the little book fair or like a scholastic book fair, and like because like over there's nothing like that exists, and like like there's nothing like that, there is no, or like even just being in the computers that were like Mac computers, like over there the whole elementary school had like 3 computers, but over here there was like classrooms filled with computers. And just being around there and just kind of looking at everything and just being like, dang, dude, like this is so much, like, it's so much stuff that's given to like us as kids, and over there, like, there was like kids that they couldn't get the uniform. They couldn't even afford to eat. And like, they just wouldn't eat, or like they would just eat like, like, I don't know, like an orange or whatever, or like they had to ask other kids for food and stuff like that, and I just remember like, I don't know, it was very trippy, like coming over here and then seeing like that there's like a lot of stuff, even though again, I didn't never really bought anything, and I never really like got all that stuff. But even then, I don't know. For me, I felt it like that I was still very like, like at least I get to wear like my clothes, like wear normal clothes to school and not the uniform. Because the uniforms were super itchy. And it's like where I'm from, it's like 100 degrees every day. So it's like imagine wearing like pants, like jogger pants type, like in that weather. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. But yeah.
You mentioned school uniform, and I remember middle school we had a school attire, and so you had to wear certain colors, that was a struggle for me, especially because it was middle school, so my body was changing. So that was really hard, and so finding the clothes, and I remember having to go like look for those. It was just a hassle. I hated it. My parents hated it.
I remember too. And then that also reminds me like how we had like PE uniforms too.
Yeah.
And you had to like purchase those as well. And that just reminds me of like the various fees once you enter middle school. Like there are so many fees like for everything, like for certain like projects or sports or trips or whatever,
Clubs.
like clubs. Yeah. Like the amount of fees are crazy. And like, I can imagine like the number of people who show up is, like very much determined by if you are able to afford those fees or not. So why are fees so outrageous? I know the answer, but still like fees have become so outrageous. Like my brother, this past year for sports, it was so much money. And again, that's where also like if you're not poor enough, you don't get help. So then it's like, okay, guess I'm going to have to pay this like $200, $300 bill.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot.
Going back to the uniforms, we struggled a lot to find clothes, so we would like search Goodwill, but we found our grail, and it was Dollar Tree. We found like simple, solid, plain color shirts at Dollar Tree, but like you couldn't let anyone know they were from Dollar Tree.
We were talking about the extracurriculars, and I think it's so messed up how like if you don't pay your fees, you aren't part of the club. That always made me kind of upset because like it is a lot of money, and then like sports is like, what if I just want to run the track? Like leave me alone. Sports are very expensive, which again I also know why they're expensive, but I don't know. When you already are struggling and you find the one thing in school that like makes you want to go and keeps you uplifted, it kind of sucks that there's a barrier to that. But
It just reminded me. I went through that because I couldn't afford running shoes for cross country like my first year. So like I just remember I would run in like my soccer shoes, and they were like indoor soccer shoes. Hyperrenum 2s, look them up. They're terrible shoes. They were awful. And I had like lime green full and I used to wear that to school. Oh my God, embarrassing. But back then I thought they were the coolest thing ever, but they were very uncomfortable. Even like as a kid, I remember being like, damn, these shoes suck. And I was running like cross country with them. So like it was like kind of like hard. And I just remember like the coach like told me like, hey, like, why do you always bring those shoes? And I was like, oh, I was like, he's like, do you not have other ones? I was like, no. And and they were like, or it's actually a she. She was like, okay, just go to the store. Oh no, I went with her. Oh. She took me actually to the store, and we got some shoes. And she bought like the pair for me. And I was able to like run cross country with those shoes. So I remember that.
I could relate, because in middle school when I did track, I would usually run in my Converse, trying to be like Rocky.
But running in Converse is wicked. It's wicked.
Well, I was really used to it.
Yeah.
But then like a teacher called me up. She's like, "Hey, are those only running shoes you have?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Do you want new ones?" No, she was like, "You should probably get different shoes." I was like, "Okay." And so we went to like Ross to buy some, and I'm like, these shoes are terrible. Oh. They look ugly, and I'm like, they're gonna make fun of me. Thank God no one made fun of me.
Yeah.
I wanted like the cool like Roshis, but Those are probably weren't even good at for running, but like
No, but at the time, everybody
had
wanted,
them. Like, I
everybody
wanted
had
them.
him, and like,
or like, and then like I later found out like spikes. I'm like, those would have been so cool to have.
Wait,
yeah.
Converse weren't cool? That's all I wore.
I wore them because they were cool, and I'm like, if I buy other shoes for running, then I won't be cool.
Yeah, but they were uncomfortable to run in.
I ran in Converse.
I was
too.
used to it.
Me too, Jair. That's what I ran.
I remember, since we're talking about shoes, I remember I didn't own any like black Converse early on because those were never on sale. It was only like the ones that were like fun colors or patterns. Because those were the only ones on sale. And I just wanted like the regular black ones, but because those were like the most popular ones, most popular, they were never on sale. So
She looks at me.
I ended up getting some later on, but I remember like in middle school, and like even in elementary with like Vans, same thing. It was only like the fun, colorful ones or like the ones patterns. I had like these like purple Hello Kitty ones, I think. And those were my shoes every single day.
Same. Church shoes, running shoes, sports shoes, for anything. My Converse ended up eventually getting holes in them. And then so I would have to walk to the bus stop, which was like maybe a mile away. And I'm like, why are my shoes always getting so wet? I'm like, oh, they have holes in them.
I'd used to super glue my shoes when they like had holes in them. Just to like preserve. Yeah, you saw me. You caught me one time, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
But I was like, "Girl, I do that too."
And then you're like, "Can you do mine too?"
Super glued to your shoes.
Yeah, because
Oh,
you gotta do what you gotta do, Louise.
We got to be cool.
Damn.
And we can't get new. Well, I couldn't get new ones because I had to wait a year for the next school year. So we had to stay with the ones. Or is either get the cool shoes or you get sucky shoes. Get the cool shoes and wait for the next year, or just get sucky shoes you don't like. And be my fan of.
I was just saying because I never thought about that. I never thought I was super good with my shoes. I just wore them until like the sole was off the shoe. Like that's how I wore my. I didn't think I should have done that.
all those shoes kind of waste.
So many good pairs. No, but like what's it called? I'm just thinking like like I used to wear shoes until or the clothes too. Even like it would get expensive, to get new clothes and stuff like that. I always got like the hand me downs from my brother. So then it wasn't, like I would get new clothes all the time. Like my mom always kept us clean though, but like, it definitely wasn't like, oh yeah, I can just go here and just let me get these Air Forces or these Roshis, like you said, or, like it was like, ooh, I'm about to get new shoes. This is it for like the next year. Like I'm not, and I wore them to the ground.
Like after Christmas break, coming back from school, and everybody would brag about their
What you
gifts.
get for Christmas?
Yeah. Like, yeah, I got one gift. And while they all have like 10 different things.
A trip to like on vacation.
Right.
And I'm like, cool.
I hated like class share outs when the teacher was like, "Okay, guys, let's go around the room and talk about like our gifts." And I was like, "Girl, don't." I'm about to
Let me
crash
get
out.
creative right now.
Like, do not do this right now.
Or like what you did over winter break, and everybody's
God.
like, "Oh, I went here, I went there, I went over there," and I'm like,
I stayed here. I went to the park.
I went to the park.
Same with like summer, and right now we're during like it's summer break. For the past, I don't know how many years, I've stayed in Vancouver.
Right.
And I, would hear from my friends that, again, they went to travel, and I was like, fun. I stayed here.
Right. And like the only times we've traveled has been once we
We
started
celebrated.
chasing the bag.
And it was also like a celebration of our accomplishments.
Right,
So
exactly.
We paid for that ourselves.
We did, yeah.
You know what? High five, guys.
But we were also really cheap.
Yeah.
I guess, that one thing where it's like if you grow up like that with not a lot of money, then your habits that you pick up on, it's really hard to like let go of those habits or like mindsets, for your like future spending or budget?
I'm thinking about something that we went through that during one of the trips. Like during the trip. I'm not gonna say it right now. But I remember something, and I was like, I mean, that's how we done it, and it's just like to save money, you know. What's it called? Wait, I want to go back to the shoes, just because I remember, like, I just remember like cleaning my shoes. I used to like really clean my shoes, and like I used to, you know. I'm not gonna expose myself, but I used to use like a toothbrush and like toothpaste to clean the shoes.
Oh yeah, like cleaning 101.
Maybe I use my own toothbrush. Maybe. I'm not gonna say that. Allegedly, I may or may not have used my own toothbrush to clean the shoes, but there was no more toothbrushes around. You know.
And wait, did you reuse that same toothbrush afterwards?
No. Anyway.
There's also old rags you could use.
Hey man, I had to do what I had to.
Biggest flex was like when you show up to school and then people are like, "Did you get new shoes?" I'm like, "No, I just cleaned them really well."
Yeah, right. You just clean them really well. No, yeah.
Or school buildings. Man,
Oh my
when I
God.
stepped
Let's
foot
get into that.
when I
yeah.
stepped foot into schools like on the opposite side of town,
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
ridiculous.
Whoa.
Like 2 gyms. Wait, your air conditioner works?
your ceiling isn't falling down? Like what?
It's not leaking.
I know.
Your 2 stories.
Right.
You have lockers?
Yeah.
Right. Your food is actually decent.
You have more stages, you know?
Yeah, or even just like the academics part of it too. Like, oh,
You have this program, you have that program.
right. Oh, they take you to these trips?
Oh yeah, like I saw like some high school has like an engineering like little program. I'm like, what?
Yeah. And like I don't know how it is in like other places like around, you know, but it's just like the disparity between different schools across this county. Even like it's just so different, you know? Like again, like you said, like you mentioned, like talking to people in college, like now that you're in college and you're all kind of in the same playing field, it's like, you know, they're like, oh yeah, we had an engineering program where we learned to code and we learned to like, you know, use CAD and so we started learning when we were like 14, 15. And then it's like, you're like, what? Like, you know, like my school didn't have any of that. And then, you know, yet it's kind of like, you know, it puts you at a disadvantage, you know? And you are kind of expected to know certain things. And I'm like, bro, like I didn't even know that was even an option for some people. Or like, since like I did sports, like you'd go to like different schools for like different events. And I'd just look at the school and be like going to Union.
Your track isn't a dirt track. It's like a fully polished one. Okay.
Yeah, like going to Union, I was like, dang, I never went inside. But just seeing it from the outside, though, I was like, geez, like compared to like, you know, the high school we went to, and not to say the hours was bad, and it was like awesome, and I wouldn't trade it, but like, you know, like looking back and then just seeing how like people kind of give like certain schools a bad rap or something like that, just because, you know, oh, they have maybe like a bad history, or because, oh, it's like, you know, but it's not even about that. It's just that, hey, over there, that's the rich side of town, so they get more money for their schools, you know? So how is that fair to the kids, you know? And I just don't like it when people kind of like talk down on like the poor schools,
Or like
you know?
there's a lot of fights over there.
No, yeah. I hear that all the time. Like from my family, I've had these conversations so many times, and they like would ask me about like my opinion, like, oh, should I let my child go to this school or that school? And I'd be like, girl, it's the same in any school. Like you will find the same issues in every school, regardless of like everything else, because kids will be kids and kids do what other kids do here or there. So yes, you will see fights in both of these schools. Yes, you will see kids using drugs in both of these schools. Like it is not based off of just like, I feel like it kind of like is a microaggression at a certain point, because, you know, they base it off of like how the school looks like, you know, physically, like
Or even
And-
surrounding the school.
Yeah.
What's around that school.
or
you know?
who is the demographic? Like, who
Yeah,
are the
like
kids
what the kids
going?
look like.
Yeah. So that definitely reminds me of how it could be a microaggression. And I was gonna say something when you were talking, but like I looked at your beautiful eyes and I like completely forgot.
All right.
I guess I'll have to stop looking at your eyes because otherwise I will never remember.
All right. Something that I kind of like want to go back to is that thing about like, you know, basically the area where you live kind of determines like it's like the thing, like you're a product of your environment and stuff like that. And like it stretches as far as like, you know, where you are in town changes so much of your experience in that town. Like, again, just talking to kids from just going to college, talking to different people who lived in different areas around here, around the same place, that they just had completely different experiences. Or like you go to their houses and it's like, first of all, they have houses. First of all, they got a house and the house ain't nothing like, you know, it's like, dang. And then as a kid, if you're like a kid or like in middle school, you don't think about it ever. Or I mean, you don't like, it's not like really, it doesn't really dawn on you like the fact that all these things it's like all like a system.
Yeah.
You know? And you are really put in like a big disadvantage. Even if you're like super like smart and super like talented, still you're still like there's stuff that's working against you that's just bigger than you know? And like I don't want to get into like that whole thing, but like you know,
let's get into it. Actually, let's get
just
into
spawned
it.
here.
society.
Well, no, but it's true because I wrote a paper on it in college about how those types of neighborhoods, like the community, because they are so focused on money, right, on trying to survive, they put, whether intentionally or not, they put like a certain value on money and like on working and on labor and not as much on education, so that when kids grow and they go through school and they see their family and they see, okay, my family is not putting as much attention on education as they are on labor, they just follow the same path. And so when they graduate high school, if they graduate high school, because let's talk about that too, they just automatically go into the work field, and then it becomes a cycle because they never break that generational poverty because it's constantly like survival mode. And I remember reading that like the people who are able to put education as like valuable or whatever, those kids get to continue their generation, their cycle of like wealthy, I guess, or not like wealthy, but you know, being able to climb up because they have more liberty to do so since they're not constantly like trying to survive. And it's really hard for kids who grow up in these types of neighborhoods or situations to be able to break from that cycle, because it's true. Like I know a lot of my friends, they didn't go to college because they wanted to go to the work field immediately, you know? And that leads to just like a constant cycle of generational poverty. And I don't know, it sucks.
And I mean, there's like nothing wrong with it either. Like if you want to just not go to like school, but like a lot of people don't have the opportunity to go to school. Cause like you said, you know, it's like the whole thing of like trying to make it out the hood and stuff. And yeah, like it's like, it becomes like a cycle of like, you know, your parents are working and then now you're the one that's working, you're trying to make it, but then there's all these things that are again going against you, and you just kind of end up falling in the same spot. And I don't know, I think about it like from us, it's like I've been living where, you know, we live, it's kind of like apartments for like, you know, dang, it's been a long time, but you know, what's it called? Like there's like a bunch of apartment buildings around where I live. And like I just remember visiting different like apartment buildings. Especially I did it more like as a kid. And it's just crazy. Like, you know, you meet all these people and you see all these things, and then you think that, first of all, like, you know, you hear some people kind of like talk bad about places like that, but like, you know, like there's like, you know, people living there and stuff like that. And even me, there have been times where like I've been kind of like ungrateful and been like, like, why are we here, you know?
Mm.
Like, but then, you know, you go somewhere else and you go to like a different place and like a different apartment building or something, or you see how somebody else is living and you're like, damn. And I'm out here like complaining, you know, like sometimes like there'd be like roaches and stuff, or like bugs and like rats and things like that. And you're like, damn, like, you know, and I'm out here like complaining about where I'm living and stuff like that. And, you know, at the end of the day though, you know, I'm not saying it like it's a bad thing. Like it really does teach you the value of like, of what you have, the things that you have. And I don't know, like, I guess for me, it's kind of like how you can also help others too, you know?
That also reminds me, like, not only are school buildings affected by money, but also like land and like the property, you know? Because I've heard stories and I've lived in some where, you know, those apartments are not up to code. Like, who is keeping these people in check? Because clearly they are not doing their job.
Also, as someone who cares about the environment, let's not forget the environmental disparities that come, you know, with those geographic, demographic populations.
Right.
But you're talking about like apartments. Our apartment did not have AC. So those summer months, oh my goodness, it was like, yeah. No AC was horrible. Yeah. Like,
I would stick my head in the fridge.
Yeah.
cool down.
Just kind of open the fridge and you're just in the freezer, like.
Or like the apartment units with no laundry machines.
We had to wait like at least a week. Maybe this is too much, but we had to wait like a week or two to like wash clothes because we had to. There was a laundromat like at our apartments, but like it sucked. Like it was terrible. So we had to go like somewhere else with like the weirdos.
With the in la lavanderia. I remember like every time we would go, I'd be like, oh my God, I really hope like I run in, like nobody sees me here. And then one day I did, and I was like,
it's over.
It's over.
It's over.
I'm going to get made fun of. Like I'm going to be like the joke of the school. Like it's never brought up, but you know, I had a whole spiral that night.
Yeah. Yeah. We're like, you know, having to pay this rather than that thing. Like if you wanted AC, we had to buy our own little fan. But like that means we wouldn't pay for phone service or food, or
because then the bills would come in really high.
So it's like we really were just we are trying to survive, and it sucks.
And you made a comment about like going to your friend's house and then like seeing their houses, and I remember like always like being really upset, and sometimes I still am, because I was like, because I would love to have people over. I would have loved to have like a birthday party and hand out invitations to everybody and like have them come over to my house. But man, my family barely fits in there. Like, how am I supposed to fit anybody in there? So I do like, or just like not having enough space for your family, or having to share rooms growing up, you know, or like only having one bathroom. Like, that the one bathroom subject is a touchy one for me. So don't bring it up unless you want me to ramble.
People know. It's rough when you only got one bathroom in like a whole house, and you have like multiple siblings.
And your siblings take forever. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get crazy.
I think like the first time I invited you guys, my mom did like a whole deep cleaning of the apartment. We're like, we gotta get rid of the mold.
Yeah. Nah, for real. That's kind of why, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, like, you know, like we like when we hang out in like That's kind of why I also like don't really like. I'm like, just come to my place because if my family's there, it's like for me, it's kind of like it's not the biggest, and then I'm also kind of like not embarrassed, but I'm just like I gotta deep clean. I gotta like if I haven't deep cleaned, I'm like don't come because it's like it's a really old place where we're at, and like I don't know. I guess since you live there, you look at all the details,
Right.
of the place that you live in. So you're like, ooh, like I really hope they don't see that thing behind the like whatever. And then it's like nobody's paying attention to that, though, right?
Or like they're gonna be like, they have so much stuff.
Yeah, or like there's so much stuff laying around. It's like nobody's paying attention to that. Though. That's just kind of all in your head. Yeah, no, housing is a very, very crazy thing. I'm just remembering that also, like when I lived in Mexico, again, like I used to go to my grandma's house, and next to the house was my friend's house. He was like a kid that lived there, and they were like right next to each other. And like I remember I used to like love going to his house, but like it wasn't even a house. It was like a makeshift, like made with like just random pieces of like wood or like, like aluminum, like, like roofing stuff, it was just made of that. And like, it was literally like they had no doors. There was actually not like doors. Like it was just out in the open, out in the elements, basically, so it was definitely no AC and stuff like that. But like, and like you'd have to like walk to like different, it was kind of like walking through like a maze to get to like different parts of the house. And just like I remember, but like as a kid I used to like love going there, but like looking back on it, it's like dang, like it wasn't really like a house, and he was probably like looking at our place because he used to come over to our house. He was probably looking at our place like, dang, you guys are living like this, but yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy to think about them.
That reminds me of like my dad. Like, I think like my grandpa made like a little house for them, and then like it was in the middle of the night. They just woke up. And they're like, "Hey, like the roof is falling." Like it wasn't really like an official house,
Yeah,
because they didn't have any electricity or anything. They're like, "Yeah, we gotta get out of here. The house is falling.
We gotta get out of here."
Yeah, they didn't have any like electricity, and then we were watching like old westerns, and my brother was like, "Is that how you were living?" And no, he grew up in like the early 80s and 90s. Electricity had just existed by then.
Yeah.
And then to tie it back to our title of the episode, wait, I already forgot. What's it called?
Hay comida.
Hay comida en la casa. There's food at home, right? Where, y'all know the memes where like, hey, can you get me something from, fast food place? No, because there's food at home.
Yeah.
What? What? You can't get me one kid's meal, girl?
I think I only had like 3 growing up.
3 kids meals? Or like just even like in the store, like you can't give me like un gansito? Like, just one gansito, bro. That's all I'm asking for. No. That's, you know what? Times are tough, but we're still here.
Yeah.
We made it through. And that is a lot of it, our parents too, right? The way they raised us, the way that, despite all of these challenges, like they made it a point to put value in like trying to do better than what they had and what they were giving us at the time, like always do better. And so, we're trying. We're trying. In the current state of our world, we are trying. Best believe we are trying.
A happy memory I have of that is, we talk about vacations and like how we couldn't go out. But during summer, one thing that we do as a family is we'll gather around and just watch DVDs. And that's our vacation. And you know what? That's my favorite part because I spend time with my parents. I spent time with you already, but like, we see each other every day. Yeah, we see each other. And like, it's just, I find it kind of magical because like, I'm still able to hang out with them, and we spend time together, my brother, my mom, my dad, and it might not be like,
An expensive vacation, but I would take what we do over anything.
well, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Never mind. I'm just kidding. No, and so, yeah, I agree with you.
She said, why are you lying for the cameras?
Our parents, did it. And so.
Right. So the struggle is real, but you know what? We are on your side and we are supporting you because we know how rough it has been and it is and it probably will be.
It humbles me.
Yeah. Remember your roots, remember your back. Every time we talk about this, like I remember a new memory and I'm like, yeah. Yeah. So just, I don't know.
Oh, I wanted to add, like, also, like, don't be afraid as like to like ask for help, because I also, like, I don't know, this can be kind of like the call to action too, but like, there's like a lot of places, a lot of organizations, a lot of people, a lot of teachers that are looking out for you, that do see all these things, It's not just you kind of suffering through it, it's everybody suffering through it in your community. And there's people, especially older people, that are looking out for you. Organizations. We didn't even shout out, like, going to get food from like Salvation Army or like all those places,
The food bank.
The food bank and stuff, like, to this day, and so there are places like that. There's always information available, and like, again, like, kind of going back, like, somebody bought me shoes, like a teacher bought me shoes so I could, like, continue to do cross country. And I really, like, appreciated that. And I never, like, forgot that, So also, if you are a person who is in a position to help, you have to help. It's not like you think about, like, it goes a really long way to do things for kids. Even, like, I would love it when teachers would bring snacks. Even though, sometimes it did feel like, kind of like, sometimes you might feel like guilty for taking them and stuff, but like all that stuff, I for me, it's still in my mind, and I always think about it, and I always have like a goal of mine will always be to give back too. So, if you are in a position to do that, help out, and there's always, and if you're not, that's okay. Then, look for those places that can help you out. Stuff. That's all I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good. Because if, considering where we are at in the world, I think it's a very good reminder for all of us to be very very focused on building community and building community, to elevate not just yourself, but those around you. Because if you elevate your community where you're at, like, automatically you are included in that. So you will rise. So, let's build community. Let's think about others. Let's come together. And like Luis said, there's a little bit of help for everything. And it's just a matter of also like looking and reaching out and taking advantage of those resources. We shout out, like, Clark County Food Bank is always providing food donations. LNW has had a few food donation days, right? Or no? Like,
yes.
La Despensa?
Yes, that supports our Metro students who are part of that club. But I also want to say, like, if you guys, there's art in the movie at the park that the city of Vancouver pulls. So those are nice ones too.
Those are all good events.
The school supply event that we talked at the beginning of this episode, I know Vancouver has hosted a few of those before.
Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and Girls Club too.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Boys and Girls Club.
There's
too.
also lunch at the park. Like, I remember they would do it around like the summer.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you know what? Even in the radio, in El Radio 93.1, El Rey, if you listen to El Radio sometimes, I don't know if they do it as much anymore, but I remember going to those also events, and they would give out free school supplies. And even now, like, in my classroom, I have some of those pencils that I got from those events. Like, they have 93.1 El Rey on them. So, those supplies are being used, So there's just a lot of resources out there because, you know, even though it is really rough and it is a struggle, there are people in the community who know that, and there are building opportunities and resources for you to grab and you to take. So again, it's, you know, huge focus on building community these days. So we hope you enjoyed our podcast episode today. Maybe you got lost in the wonderful, beautiful eyes of Luis too during this episode, or maybe you stared at Pamela the whole time, and I wouldn't blame you. So thank you guys for watching so much. Shout out to...
Thank you for the Inatai Foundation and Peace Health for sponsoring these episodes. Podcast. And thank you for Media Man Productions, Alexis, for helping record.
Sir. Yes, sir.
We love all of you. Please stay safe and like, subscribe, share. We'd really appreciate it. Leave a comment, please, so that I'm not the only one going in there and dropping comments. But as always, we will see you in the next one.
Peace.
Thank you for the Inatai Foundation and Peace Health Community Fund for sponsoring this video.